Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is claiming a new research effort will discover the cause of autism by September. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. The Secretary of Health and Human Services made the comment yesterday at a White House cabinet meeting. Kennedy has reportedly hired a longtime figure in the anti-vaccine movement to lead that research effort. A Cleveland police officer is pleading guilty to charges in Lake County. Officer Alexander Sinclair was off duty when he reportedly shot a bullet through the windshield of a vehicle at the edge of Riverview Elementary School's parking lot. Sinclair pleaded guilty yesterday to charges including assault, kidnapping, and abduction. And Akron Mayor Shamus Malik was among those on hand for a groundbreaking ceremony at Summit Lake. The lake's northern shore is being developed into what will be known as North Shore Park and will feature a fishing pier and a boardwalk, picnic accommodations, a covered pavilion, and more. In sports, the Cavaliers fell to the Pacers 114-112, and the Guardians turned down the White Sox 6-1. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Patchy fog this morning. Cloudy skies with highs in the lower 40s. At last check, cloudy and 36 in Cleveland, 34 Akron and Canton, 36 in Lorain and Elyria as well.
It's time for your Moron Moment.
Barbershop Quartet Day is on April 11th. This art of harmonized singing produced a style without the need for accompanying music. Barbershop music is deeply rooted in African American history, with its improvisational elements influencing early jazz and gospel quartets. Throughout the 1880s, in the South, men mingled with barbers and others in the shop while waiting for their haircut. This sound turned into a genre called barbershop music and continued thriving from then on. And that's your Moron Moment.
Moron.
And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 6:02. With Moody Radio News, I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting live from the Bob Devine Studio. It's Mornings with Brian. Want to join the conversation? Call or text now at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Happy Friday from Mornings with Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Brian's not here, but we brought in someone else just to fill his place.
Yes.
Jaime Buxton.
Yay! That's me.
Jaime Buxton from the City Mission is here with us today.
So
been a
happy
while.
to be here. Yeah.
You're on vacation. I feel like I can't remember. We couldn't do March with you.
Mostly because I was getting ready for vacation and, you overcompensate
The
at work.
pre-vacation can get a little stressful.
And the post. And let's be honest, when you have 4 rowdy boys, sometimes the actual vacation has its moments.
Oh, yeah.
But did you guys have a wonderful, fun time? on
Oh, my
vacation?
goodness. I called this vacation my midlife crisis vacation
Oh,
because it was the last spring break that I can anticipate, at least for now, being able to control everybody's schedules.
Yeah.
And so we went big and we went wild and family style wild, just to be clear.
This is a family show.
This
Jaime.
is moody. And it was awesome. I do not have the kind of husband who gives in to my every whim ever in
Me
our
neither.
relationship. But this vacation, he kind of did. It was
That's
just like,
nice.
you want to do
Sean.
that? Okay.
Aw, that's sweet.
It was very sweet.
Did everyone get time together the whole time? Did people go and do their own things?
We were together the whole time.
Wow. Where'd you guys go?
We went to Hawaii. We went to Maui.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really awesome. Gideon, my baby, he's 9. He's built to live in Maui. He's tan and he's blonde, and all he wanted to do was hang out in the local basketball court and just play basketball and sports and make friends. He was so cute.
That's so cute. And you have now you're pre-tan for baseball season.
I'm pre-tan. Yep.
You're pre-tan.
Oh, good.
Peeling, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah, I underestimated. I have pretty good tanning skin, much to I have a sister-in-law who's a nurse, and she's always like, you don't wear enough sunscreen. I made a major mistake on day 1 for sure. I slathered the boys and Sean, and I was
Just
like, oh, I'm
dabbed.
fine. And I just sprayed, in
Little
Ohio.
spritz.
Yes,
Little
in
spritz
Ohio
of
we can get away
sunscreen.
with a spritz.
Yeah.
You cannot on day 1 of Maui get away with a
No,
spritz, just
not
for the
at all.
record. So learn from my mistakes.
Yes. But now you're ready for baseball season. No burning on baseball season.
It's a long time till we're going to burn here in Ohio, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Brian is out. He is hopefully this morning watching his daughter graduate from basic training with the Army. So that's very exciting. They made it. Their 12-hour drive, they made it.
Whew.
I got a picture of the Atlanta traffic, so I said, they must have made it.
Wow.
The whole crew?
All of them minus one.
Okay.
Yeah, someone had to stay with the animals. So
I
yes.
knew that he was not the driver for a segment of time because
He
I
was
kept
texting. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Kept
kept
getting
getting
pictures.
things, memes and
Yes.
things Facebook.
I got
to
4
me.
Facebook reels, and I said, sir, my life is still continuing. You better stop sending me Facebook reels.
Why don't you help whoever's driving? I'm sure Sarah would appreciate it.
So I haven't watched any of them that he sent me. So
Well, hopefully he's listening and knows that.
He's not.
He did.
He really doesn't like when you don't
I know, he
at
really
least
doesn't.
heart them or haha them.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
enough to watch him. He needs the reaction.
Yeah.
He needs a heart or a ha-ha face.
Yeah.
Thumbs up even probably would be fine.
Yeah. Just
don't do
more
that.
than received. I know you don't give in to his.
Yeah, I just get bombarded with videos to watch from him, my sister, all of them.
Sean and I actually had a fight about this last night.
Oh, wow.
You send him too many videos?
No, I was like, hey, did you know this friend of ours? There's a meal train for her right now. She had surgery recently. And he was like, yeah, I sent it to you. And I was like, no, you didn't. He said, yes, I did. I sent it to you in Facebook Messenger. And I was like, well, that was your
That's
first
your first
problem.
mistake.
And I was like, something important needs
That's
to
not a
not go through
communication tool.
Messenger. And then he looked so upset and he was like, I send you stuff through Messenger all the time. And I'm like, I'm aware. I'm aware. So I catch up from time to time, as I do with Brian's reels that he sends
Yeah, you got to
me.
catch up. Yeah.
But I was like, something important like a meal train of a good friend, you
Text
probably
that.
should have copied the link and put it in a text message.
Yeah, that's not messenger worthy.
No.
If you
Oh, wow.
actually want to do it,
Uh-oh, Ron, is this news
Are you
flash for you
sending
over there?
meal trains via Facebook Messenger?
Yes, I have probably far less communication than you guys, you gals. So Facebook Messenger to me, it's something I'll check 3-4 times a day.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Along
It is
with my
secondary to your
notifications
texts and far less superior than email.
I only use Facebook Messenger if I need to get a hold of something and I don't have their phone number for whatever reason. That is the only time I will ever use it.
What I don't like about it is that if I want to watch a video, it like has to open up like a whole new tab or link sometimes. I want to watch it just within that thread.
Right.
Agreed. Yes, because when I do catch up and I have 7 to watch from Brian, I've got to keep going back. It is a problem. Just show me them all right in a row.
Yeah.
So I can laugh, ha-ha, and move on.
And what kind of videos are you guys sending each other?
Funny ones.
Only funny ones.
Yeah, he really likes people falling and stuff like that, as you guys know, like falling and tripping. Those things stress me out, probably because I'm so accident prone.
Oh.
So I don't find humor in that. It actually like really, I'm like, ugh. But he thinks it's really funny.
Yes, he does.
But no, there's a guy who I won't mention by name, who his kind of niche is misspellings of signs and like weird people selling things
funny.
on Facebook. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, those are my fave.
My friend, she has her little side hustle of selling things on Facebook Marketplace, not only for herself, but for everyone in her family.
Oh.
And she just takes like a couple dollars off each sale or whatever for
Did
her
she sell
time.
some stuff for me?
And she's in Tennessee.
Oh, could she still sell some stuff for me?
Sure.
We have a whole washer and dryer that came with our house that we do not want. We're like, what are we going to do with this?
Oh, yeah.
That is, you
Haven't
can
gotten
put
around
that
to
on.
it.
Yeah,
we could.
she's-
We just haven't gotten around
She's
to it.
learned like what gets people to see it, what the post has to have, like little keywords in the post that will get people to see it. So she has this whole little side hustle, and she'll send us messages she gets from time to time. And it was like the thing was $30, and the person said, "I'll give you 20," and she said, "No, I'm like staying hard on 30 because it's new out of the box, like hasn't been used." And they said 25. She said, "No, thank you, I'm sticking to 30." And the reply was 25. Give me your address.
People are
No.
crazy.
Yeah.
I know. But I do love a good Facebook marketplace
Me too.
purchase. Sports gear, that is how the Buxtons survive. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I love doing that kind of stuff.
Bats,
I also love
gently
selling
used.
on Facebook Marketplace.
I don't know that I do not do well. She needs to give a tutorial to Jaime Buxton because even we have like mommy stuff for sale, Nordonia. I could put the best stuff on there and no one ever buys it. And I think I price it pretty low, to be honest. Like, you know, Under Armour, Nike stuff. That's what all is coming out of my house, right? People will put like a ceiling fan from 1990 and they're selling it for 20 and it goes like this. And I'm like, I have a whole lot of like decent whatever and it won't go. Sean makes fun of me. I'm like, because he'll always be like, before you donate it, see if we can get a little money.
something.
And so I'll try. And I'm like, just don't even make me anymore because nobody buys my stuff.
Oh, yeah, I have a tier. I start with Facebook Marketplace for old children's clothes. And I'll do like $1 per thing.
Yes.
Or 50 cents per item.
That's
And
fair.
there's like 50 onesies and pants, shoes, whatever. And if that doesn't go in a couple weeks, then I take it down the road to our little consignment shop.
Right.
And they give me like 4 cents. But hey, it's 4 cents I didn't have before.
Yeah, but like an 80% of it back.
Yes.
Because that's the most offensive thing when they're like, we took 7 of your 47 items.
Yes, that's exactly what happens to me every time. I think I'm going to go in there and make like $100.
Yes.
And they give me $7. Last time it was literally $9.
Well, $9 you didn't have.
Exactly.
I'm not going to lie. When my kids were your age, I did one of those big sales where you had to like tag the items and get them on the hangers. I did make a lot of money. I mean, a
Lot of
couple
work for
$100. But it felt like,
Felt like a big win.
Yeah, it felt like a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, send us your Facebook Marketplace tips to 440-546-2255. It's Follow-Up Friday. The show is yours. What do you want to talk about? Is there something we discussed this week that we didn't get into enough? Is there something we didn't even discuss at all? And you're like, how come they're not talking about it? Send it to us. Text or call 440-546-2255.
Millions of children throughout the world lack one simple item that could open the door to health, education, opportunity, and Jesus: shoes. This spring, Moody Radio and Buckner International are partnering with you to provide hope to kids in need throughout the world by providing new shoes and socks, critical care, and the love of Jesus in some of the most vulnerable places. Right now, more than 42,000 children are waiting for the first gift of new shoes. Give today at GiveShoesNow.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 877-58-BIBLE. That's 877-58-BIBLE. 877-58-BIBLE.
Bringing Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania closer to Christ, one conversation at a time. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio, Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Follow Up Friday on Mornings with Brian, Moody Radio Cleveland. What do you want to talk about? The show is yours. Is there a topic we discussed this week you want to get back into? Do you have a question, a conundrum at work or something, and you have nobody else to ask because it's, personal?
It's my dream, and no one ever calls in on Follow Up Friday for me. Let me know how you want to spoil your significant other this weekend. We will help you.
Yes. Ask us any question you want.
Mother's Day is coming up. Maybe you need some suggestions for the mom in your life.
Absolutely.
Jamie would love to help you.
Yep.
Would love to.
Text or call 440-546-2255. If you're just joining us, Brian is out. He'll be out Monday and Tuesday as well. He is in Atlanta watching his daughter graduate from basic training. So excited for their family. It's happening this morning. So if you think of them, pray for them. All right. Topics this week. Things that we could discuss. Jamie, I'd love to hear what tickles your fancy. We had a pointless debate. Is cereal a soup?
Absolutely not. And I don't
Debate over.
And moving on.
I think that's what everyone said. But then someone got into ramen. Is ramen a soup?
Yes.
I say official ramen from a ramen restaurant,
Yes.
That's soup.
but not the cup of noodles.
Well,
That's flavored water on cheap noodles.
That's a debate. How do you eat your ramen noodles? Because I am a heavy noodle girl and very
Less
little
water.
water.
Yeah, I drain mine. Like, I'll use a half packet of seasoning and just mix it in with the noodles. I don't like the water.
I use the whole packet of seasoning still. But we drain some of the water. I like the noodles, but my husband, if he makes it, it is soup. But so now that's a debate.
That is a debate. Maybe that's our pointless debate for next Monday.
How do you ramen?
Yes. Having a hard time following Christ in the presence of your coworkers. So we were wondering, what does that mean? Is that you feel like you have to tell everyone about Christ while you're there and evangelize to everybody, and so you're having a hard time because you don't want to do that? Or are you acting unethically or immorally, or the people around you are, and you feel influenced to do that?
Yeah.
So how do you act like Jesus in front of your coworkers? Bring back screen-free Sunday school. Lots of Sunday schools, the message or the topic or the story is a video these days. And one author of an article was like, we need to bring back actual storytelling, teachers, not just put them in front of a screen and watch it. So we talked about that. We talked about perfectionism. Is it actually okay to strive to be perfect? One author was like, yeah, you should. It says it in this verse. And I was like, I don't know if that's what that means. So we talked about that. We can get into that. This one was a little rough, personally for me. There is the Akron Public Schools superintendent. There was an article by the Akron Beacon Journal. They had done, did Brian say 6 months? I'll have to go through the papers, but I think 6 months, maybe 6 weeks, I can't recall, of investigating, getting a lot of testimony from people that worked under this person. A bully. He is a bully. And not only that, he has used his faith as a way to bully people. He said, I've been ordained in this position by God, and if you go against me, God will strike you down.
Yeah, I heard this. It was it was unnerving.
Yeah. And he also said that there was someone, it's alleged, that he said someone at his old job got brain cancer and passed away. And he said, yeah, God did that to that person because they went against me.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. We can go back into that if you didn't hear that. There was a woman who was on a jury for a man that he has been in prison for 30 years for murder. She was on the jury when she was in her early to mid 20s. And now 30 years later, she's saying, I don't actually think he did it.
Oh.
And I think he deserves either a retrial or to be, what's that word?
Exonerated.
Exonerated. And so she talks about that. And then we talked about kind of further, do we as Christians actually believe that a person can be rehabilitated while in prison? And if so, how does that change our view of what prison should be and what our justice system should look like? This one it sounds silly, but it was actually an interesting conversation. Hooters and the future of the church.
I just saw the title and I was like, well, okay.
Russell Moore, who is the editor of Christianity Today, said that I don't think we as Christians should be excited that Hooters is going away, because it shows a much deeper problem that what Hooters once provided isn't enough anymore, because we get more grotesque things easily free on our personal devices at home. So that's kind of what he was saying. We a little bit were going back and forth of, well, I think just chain restaurants are kind of going out. I'm not certain that it's just because people can get porn so easily, but maybe it's also just that chain restaurants are going out. It's true that what Hooters provides is not that big of a deal anymore, because you can just get porn at home.
It's tame compared to what is easily accessible now.
But I'm also not certain that that's the reason that they're going out of business. We had a very interesting discussion. Jamie, what is our national park called?
Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
What's our river called?
Cuyahoga.
What is the county that Cleveland lives in?
Cuyahoga.
Okay. Well, I live in a city, and what is that city called?
Cuyahoga Falls.
Okay. Well,
I'm like on a
large majority of people in my city call it Cogga Falls. Cogga.
Oh.
And I just would like to know what's right. I'm happy to call it Cogga Falls if that's what is required of me.
Because you want to live there.
Yeah.
But you want it consistent across all
That's exactly
the
right.
places.
I can't have the national parks be one pronunciation and my city be a different one.
Because it's the same word.
That's right. So we had a very lively debate about that, of what it's supposed to be called. Then we also talked about, is it or should Christians be okay with finding contentment in being average? Can we just be content in being average? Or are we supposed to strive for excellency because we're representing Christ? We also had a caller that had comments for us. What do you want to talk about? Text or call if any of those sound of interest to you, or if you have something totally new. 440-546-2255.
Hi, I'm Joe Farini, and this is Pause for Prayer. George Barna made an assessment on the unhealthy condition of the church in America. His 15-month, 54-city seminar tour revealed that the church in America is, quote, missing the incredible significance of a life devoted to discipleship, end quote. According to Barna, studies indicate that the difference between Christians and non-Christians are minimal because Christians act so much like non-Christians. He says Christians ought to be doing something deeper that helps people understand what it means to be a Christian in the 21st century. Let's pause for prayer. Lord, these conclusions stress the importance of incorporating a lifestyle of discipleship into our personal lives and into our churches, learning about you, growing foundationally in you. Help us to have a goal individually and as a church to grow following the blueprint for church growth that you have set in place, found in Matthew 28:19 and 20, which says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." Thank you for this command we call the Great Commission, in which you clearly command us to make disciples. We know that this Great Commission is not the great suggestion or the great option for just full-time Christian workers only, but rather our marching orders to enter into the spiritual battlefield that we all face every single day of our lives. The reality is that if we are a follower of you, the Great Commission has our name on it. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to be involved in discipleship for nearly 50 years, appreciating your gracious invitation for us to co-labor with you in accomplishing your purposes in our lives and in the lives of many people we already know. All of us, in some way, at some level, we need to respond to you in this command to make disciples. Help us, Father, to more fully understand what you meant when you commanded us to make disciples. In Jesus' name, amen.
Moody Radio is thankful for support from listeners and businesses like Deerfield Ag Services. They help in adaptation of new technologies and techniques of farm and business management. More information about Deerfield Ag and how they can help is at deerfieldagservices.com.
1 John 5:14 says, "This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us." So how may the Moody Radio team pray for you? Send your prayer requests to prayerworks@moody.edu.
Good morning, Cleveland. Thanks for choosing us to help you start your day. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
It's Mornings with Brian from the North Coast Family Foundation sponsored studios, Christian counseling for adults, couples, children, and families, North Coast Family Foundation. It's follow-up Friday here on Mornings with Brian. Brian is out today and the next couple of days, but the rest of us here are here. I'm Lauren. We've got Ron and Daria, and with us today is Jaime Buxton of the City Mission. Hello, Jamie.
Hello, hello.
I'm surprised you haven't used any of Brian's tools.
I just picked one up.
Yes, he has a lot of tools and toys over there, so you can. There's a buzzer, there's a bell.
I'm hoping I don't need his giant bottle of acetaminophen.
Yeah. Sometimes he'll ask me, he's like, have I taken any today? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so, but. Okay, we did get a question from a listener. Their wife is a foodie and loves restaurants. What should he get her for Mother's Day, or what should they do for Mother's Day? Mm-hmm. What are the options here for Mother's Day for someone who loves restaurants and is a foodie?
It might be fun to take like a culinary class together. I would love something like that.
That's a good idea.
But it depends. Does she just like to eat, or does she also like to cook?
Yeah, that'll.
Because if she likes both, then take her to a place where they can teach you both how to make something new and fancy.
Yes.
I like that
And you could
idea.
take it home. Like, like you have a new thing you can do at home too. Mm-hmm. Ron, what do you think?
I would be curious what her favorite types of food are. If she likes maybe Italian the most, or maybe Arabic type foods, or, you could go to a restaurant that specializes in the style that she likes. If she's a steak lover or a seafood lover, and do something like that. If again, she's more of a eater and less of a preparer.
And no judgment in that. It doesn't sound like the most complimentary.
No. I mean, it's fine. I mean,
If
cooking's
she
a lot of
likes
work.
to cook and eat, or just eat.
Jamie, what do you think? What would you like?
I and Sean, my lovely husband, never takes me up on this, but we so rarely get to go out anyway that quite honestly, most of the time it ends up being Chinese takeout and watching what we want on TV if we're doing something. But
Chinese takeout's delicious.
that's the phase of our life that we're in, right? So, but a dream date for me is like appetizers somewhere, and then you switch to another place and you get food.
It's like
and
a
then
progressive dinner.
It is a progressive dinner of purchase. Yes. That is my kind of fooding.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, how
be
far
fun.
could you stretch this out? Like soup and salad,
I
maybe
mean,
at a Panera?
I'm amenable to all of the things.
You get
but
appetizers, and then you go somewhere else, get a salad, then go
Yes.
somewhere else for your main, and then go somewhere else for dessert.
Yes. And me being the extrovert that I am, a different friend at each location.
Wow.
And your friend meets you there.
Yes.
That's-
Or the same friends do the whole thing. But, this is not a cheap experience. It would definitely add up by the time you tip at each location, but which is maybe why we don't do it. But that would be my kind of fooding.
A progressive dinner.
A progressive dinner.
That's so funny. So if you have any thoughts, you can text or call with your thoughts of what to do for a mom who loves restaurants, loves food, is a foodie. I'm not well versed in the Cleveland area foods, really any area foods, just because I don't go out very much. So I can't give many suggestions.
Yeah.
But I do like the progressive dinner. I also like ice cream. So I would say dinner and ice cream, maybe like a new restaurant. Maybe she
Yes.
does have her favorite restaurant, but I would say go to a new restaurant.
Yeah, I would push the envelope. I tend to go back to places I like. But if it's a date, like it's really actually a date that we've like said we're going to go do something, I want to go somewhere new.
Yeah, try somewhere new, maybe a little bit farther than you once did.
Right.
And if I'm remembering about this listener, the kids are a little bit older, so you could be out for a little bit of a longer time.
Nice.
So, that sounds fun.
Progressive dinner.
Progressive dinner.
And invite me. I'll show up.
Right.
I like appetizers best.
Just do a whole meal of appetizers. That's fun.
Yes. I could just go get appetizers at 3 places.
Yeah.
Yeah, just appetizer dinner. Someone texted in Starbucks for mini scones and coffee, and then over to Panera for soup and salad, and then it ends with a nice hamburger at Culver's.
Cute.
I love that. That's so cute.
And
They
ice
obviously
cream.
live around the corner from me.
And ice cream, obviously.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
get ice cream.
Culver's has ice
Only
cream.
you, but Culver.
You don't like
it's
ice cream?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Excuse you?
I know, guys.
I beg your you can. There's doors behind me.
Actually, there's a curtain there first. It's fine. I mean, if you say, "Hey, Jamie, let's go to Mitchell's," I will jump right out of my chair. But that's pretty
Okay,
much
so
it.
what's so special about Mitchell's?
It's the best ice cream in all the land.
Well, then we need to go there.
Oh, okay.
Have you not had Mitchell's?
No, we've had this discussion.
We have.
Not you, me, Ron, and Brian did.
You need to fix that,
Oh my gosh.
and you need to go
Okay,
to
maybe
the
that's what I'll do
legit.
for my Mother's Day.
I will take you to Ohio City because you have to go to the Ohio City location where it's
oh.
fresh and you can see it be made.
Oh, you can't just go to one of the little outposts.
I mean, you can, but if you're going to do it right, Lauren, you go down and you see it made.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. There's a certain senior manager at the City Mission who sometimes comes on the radio where we can be caught going to get
Oh, she'll be
Mitchell's
here on
from
Tuesday.
time to time.
She'll be here on Tuesday. We'll bring her with us.
It's kind of like if you really want chocolate, you go to Hershey, Pennsylvania and get it fresh.
I mean, I've never been to Hershey.
Oh, it's noticeably different, the taste.
There you go.
From the factory?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's so fresh?
I guess so.
Wow.
But we were at a soccer tournament. I wouldn't have gone otherwise. But
I was going to say, Ron, that's a trip.
Yeah, we had time to kill, so we went to Hershey and, of course, bought way too much chocolate.
Yeah,
to
you
take home.
got to take some home.
Of course.
But it was good.
No, I had a friend who used to work at Nestle, and he would bring me Kit Kats from like Canada or out of the country versus a Kit Kat here. And that was like, I would have a lot of fun, even though it was the same thing every time. He would bring it from another country for me so we could taste the differences.
Now, how far away is Ohio City?
Not far, Lauren, not far.
I don't trust that.
We could, well, if I'm driving, we could get there in
my God.
20 minutes.
Neighborhood.
Okay, so it's not far from here. Okay, great. Excuse me, zoom out Google Maps.
No, not far.
Okay, fine. I was like scared it was going to be like, really far away.
No, come visit me at the City Mission,
Okay.
either location, and we can make a quick skip, hop, and a jump over to Ohio City.
Sorry, guys. We gotta go. We gotta go to Mitchell's. We gotta leave.
Yes.
Linda will jump up with me.
All right. I'll take you and Linda. A collective Mother's Day at Mitchell's.
There we go.
Okay. It's 6:43 on Mornings with Brian. What do you want to talk about? The show is yours. It's Follow-Up Friday. Do you have a conundrum, a question? There was topics we did this week. We'll have something when we come back, but I want to hear what you want to talk about. Text or call 440-546-2255.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I'm Claire from Trinity Debt Management. I'm a counselor, and the reason that I love working for Trinity is because I get to help folks with one of the hardest problems a family can face, and that's financial difficulties. In this day and age, everything is going up. You have higher utilities, higher grocery bills, higher fuel, and those credit card interest rates have gone up as well. We can help you with that. We can help you get lower interest rates, lower monthly payments. In just a few minutes, we put together a plan that gets you out of debt and keeps you out of debt. I love my job. It's a great program and a very smart way to find debt relief.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838.
I'm Claire, a Trinity counselor. Call me and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-659-9838.
2 wires, 1 spark. That's power. Electricians call it a circuit, but did you know that you can be part of the circuit at Moody Radio? We've got the wires, the technology, and the content from God's Word. But without the spark of your gifts, no one will hear a single word of anything from Moody Radio. Your gift will actually empower biblical teaching. So be the spark and be amazed at what God does in connecting it all.
Go to moodyradio.org/Cleveland and click donate.
They say family knows you best. Here's Brian's older brother with a message for you.
I always knew my little brother had the gift of gab, and he proves it to you every morning.
It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
6:48 on Mornings with Brian, Moody Radio Cleveland. It is Follow-Up Friday. That means the show is yours. What do you want to talk about? We'll talk about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Truly.
It's been proven already.
We already talked about Hooters this week, so we'll talk about anything. We had a caller that had a question earlier this week, and I wanted to present it to you all. Caller is in her 50s, and her husband is also in her 50s. They're both working. They're both Christians, though she says sometimes her husband backslides. The husband doesn't contribute to the family finances in the way that she feels he should. He gives some to, make sure that bills are covered or shared expenses are covered, but then keeps the rest for himself, and she doesn't know where that money goes. So she's worried about what he is doing with that. Is it an addiction problem? Is there something else that he's hiding? And she's looking for some advice on, first of all, how to have that conversation, how to even start to have that conversation with your spouse, and what is a healthier way to move forward with your finances.
Whew.
Yeah.
You could have prepped me for that one, Lauren.
Sorry.
It is tough because it sounds like I'm going to characterize him as being selfish. Some people may bristle at that, but it sounds like he is saying, I earned this money. It is mine.
Mm-hmm.
I have completely forgotten about the two shall become one. I am staying apart in at least this part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've earned it. It's my money. I will gladly share with you a portion of my money, but I have things I want to do, whether it's, feeding an addiction or addiction being drug or alcohol, but other addictions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Dave Safransky, it'd be buying golf clubs. He's always talking about that. But there are things people do with their money. I would much rather he give the money, have it all direct deposit into one account.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you guys can decide what you're going to do. But you definitely make sure that the bills are paid. You've got a certain amount. I think they say now 10 to 15% should go towards retirement savings.
Mm-hmm.
There may be other things, that you're saving toward.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. And if you've got extra money, why not tell her what you're doing?
Yeah.
I doubt that she really cares if you want to go take a pottery class or something. That's fine. Use that money for fun.
Yeah, no, she has every right to assume you're doing something kind of seedy with the money. Like, why else do you not want to combine it? And even if you're not doing something completely underhanded, just the attitude of, I'm not going to completely combine my life with yours is just, that's not acceptable for a marriage.
Yeah.
You absolutely need counseling.
And you're not combining your lives, but also you're hiding something.
Yeah,
for sure.
like
From your spouse.
What are you hiding? That would make me nervous, like in terms of our future. Like, are you going to keep retirement money separate? Am I on my own to invest? Are you doing any investing? Are you squandering this?
Right.
What is going on?
Yeah. Well, and you said how old they were, Lauren. How long have they been married?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, this is a difficult conversation. I'm assuming, which is not safe in this, but you said 50s, so I'm assuming they've been married for a while. Like, has this been the same since day one? Why haven't you already addressed it? I mean, feels like a lot of red flags.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are some people that advise in budgeting that would say, okay, so you have combined budgets, but then you each have, I'll just give some random amount. You each have $150 every month that you're allowed to do whatever
of course
you want with, that you don't have to talk to your spouse about. Within this $150, I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A every single week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get a milkshake at Chick-fil-A every single week.
Or Mitchell's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fine because you both agreed to that and presumably the money is still in the same account and you can see where it's going. But to basically have an account that your spouse has no access to,
right,
that is multiple
cash,
levels of concerning.
Yeah. Yeah, if this is not something you've already discussed together, we have this little fun, everyone gets a little amount of fun money each month that you go buy video games or ice cream with or whatever.
I'll be honest.
But this doesn't sound like that.
Sean and I are not good at the whole budgeting thing. he handles everything, but all of our money is in one account. But I don't ask him questions about all the fast food bags I see in his car. He doesn't ask questions about the Shein orders that show up on he can see it. It's right there. Although sometimes I use Venmo, so he doesn't see it quite so often. But
not as quickly.
But it's all right there. There's no secret. And so I guess, my big hesitation is, what is the big secret?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think you have a right to force this issue. I don't think you need. I mean, don't be mean about it, but you don't need to tap dance around it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a right to know what's going on with. I mean, even though he's not decided it's part of the household income, it is part of the household income, and you have a right to know what's going on with it. And you should absolutely talk to a pastor and or a marriage counselor about this.
And how would you suggest even starting, this conversation? Like, how do you even bring this up?
It would be good if you could sit down and say, let's talk money. We're getting up there in age to where we've got to start thinking about retirement.
Yeah, for sure. They're in their 50s.
Yeah, when you want to retire and what you want to do after you retire. So let's sit down and we start working through the budget and say, but there's, we're barely meeting our bills, and I know you make more money than this. Where does that go? Because it could really help pay the taxes or the mortgage or something. And that's a gateway to bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be that that's how his family of origin functioned, and he just never knew otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
That his dad came home and, made sure that bills were paid, that the lights were on, the mortgage is paid, whatever. But then anything left over was his money.
Mm-hmm.
And so he may not have an idea that it's supposed to function a different way.
Right.
And so I think you could even don't start with the accusations of what are you doing with our money?
For sure.
But, hey, I've noticed that you do a great job making sure all of our bills are covered. But you do make more money than that. Is there a place that money is going? Are you saving? Are you investing? I just wanted to understand more what's going on with your finances, because this is a marriage when we're in this together. I'm happy to share with you, if you do the same thing, I'm happy to share with you my half of the money where I'm putting it. I'm putting it in a savings account or whatever. Just being open. And you also have to be willing to be open about what you spend your money on if you have some fun money that you spend. It's a tough situation.
For sure. I kind of like
money is
your
scary
point
to
of
talk
view,
about.
Daria, and just saying hey, am I saving for retirement on my own? Or because that's, by 50, you really should have started a while ago. But it's much closer in proximity. So I like that. And it can be a little less aggressive than, where's the rest of the money?
Hey, we should start talking about retirement.
Yeah.
How much do we have set aside now? Do we need to think about where we should invest differently or things like that? It's definitely a tough situation.
For sure.
I'm sorry that you're in that situation. That's not fun. But
and if we could spring off of this, a sidebar, I guess.
Sure.
But if you're at all involved in counseling people who are preparing for marriage, make sure finances is one of the discussion points.
For sure.
There's a lot of things you're going to discuss, in the premarital counseling or even just as friends mentoring younger couples. Make sure you talk finances, because people can get into such trouble in that area. And then that adds so much stress to a family, a young couple. And my goodness, you could save them a lot of arguments if you get them started on the right track with budgeting, saving for the future, looking at all that instead of we need to have a house and it's got to be at least as good and as big as mom and dad's house. And then, we need new cars. Of course we need new cars. And then we need, the finest decorations because it's our house. It reflects on us. And suddenly money's all gone. They're way in debt and bad things are happening.
What do you say to the person who they're about to get married and their future spouse does want to keep separate accounts and this is where my salary money goes, this is where your salary money goes. And then we have a combined pot, or we, each pay a bill or something like that. So we're sharing all of our combined bills, but my salary stays with me and yours stays with you. What do you say to that person or that couple?
I think there are very few circumstances in which that makes sense. Mm-hmm. There are some. I'm not going to say there are none, but in most cases, I just think that's a recipe for disaster.
Yep.
And I think that's absolutely something you need to come to an agreement on before you go to the altar.
Yeah, I think the real question, and I think you're kind of alluding to it, Daria, is why? Why, if we're together and we're sharing things, why would we do that? To me, it's like a knee-jerk thinking is like you're ready to run or walk out when things don't go our way, and let's just keep that separated. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what it's saying to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's the agreement I had with my roommate before I got married. That's not the relationship you want with your spouse.
Correct.
I mean, the psychological reasoning for keeping separate bank accounts is going to leach into other areas of your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
6:59, Mornings with Brian. We can talk about anything. Call or text 440-546-2255. It's time for Ron's news, but after that, more of your questions, 440-546-2255.
It's Mornings with Brian, live from the North Coast Family Foundation sponsored studio. Whether it's your faith or your health, you don't have to journey alone. WCRF, Cleveland. WVMS, Sandusky. WVML, Millersburg. WVMN, Newcastle. WVME, Meadville. WVMU, Ashtabula. And with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
Weight Watchers is preparing to file for bankruptcy over the next few months after launching its business in 1963. It's 7 o'clock. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. The health and wellness company based in New York City is working with lenders and bondholders on restructuring. Weight Watchers has struggled with relevance over the past few years, with the rise of weight loss drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound as quick fixes for obesity. Federal charges are being filed against a Beechwood woman accused of producing child porn. The porn reportedly featured young girls in the care of 25-year-old Molly Duncan. An investigation was opened by authorities after Snapchat reportedly provided a tip in March that a user had sent 15 files that the app had flagged as apparent child pornography to another user. And a statewide infrastructure bond is going before voters next month. Issue 2 asks Ohioans to support a renewal of a $2.5 billion measure that helps fund improvements in communities and townships across the state. There's no immediate state tax increase associated with the measure. In sports, the Cavaliers couldn't keep up with the Pacers, 114-112, but the Guardians turned down the White Sox 6-1. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Patchy fog this morning. It'll be cloudy today with highs in the lower 40s. At last check, cloudy skies, 36 degrees in Cleveland, 34 Akron and Canton, 33 in Mansfield.
It's time for your Moron Moment.
Barbershop Quartet Day is on April 11th. This art of harmonized singing produced a style without the need of accompanying music. Barbershop music is deeply rooted in African American history, with its improvisational elements influencing early jazz and gospel quartets. Throughout the 1880s in the South, men mingled with barbers and others in the shop while waiting for their haircut. This sound turned into a genre called barbershop music and continues thriving on ever since. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 7:03. With Moody Radio News, I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting live from the Bob Divine Studio. It's Mornings with Brian. Want to join the conversation? Call or text now at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 101.5.
That was Ryan Ellis on Mornings with Brian. Brian is out today, and the next 2 days. So
he'll be out Mondays today too.
Mondays today and Tuesdays today. But he'll be back on Wednesday. Okay, everything's going to be fine. If we hear any updates, we'll let you know. And he said he'll send us pictures. He is in Atlanta watching his daughter graduate from basic training. He said any pictures he's allowed to share, he will. It is Follow-Up Friday, which means the show is yours. What do you want to talk about? I don't know. Anything going on in your work life, personal life,
What's your favorite ice cream shop?
What's your favorite ice cream shop? We've got, what is it? What's the Mitchell's and Honey Hut. I almost said Honey Cut. Honey Hut.
Mm-hmm.
What are the other
Honey
ones?
Hut.
Daria likes Handles.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dairy Queen. It's fine.
Well, we don't want fine, Ron.
It's fine.
We want superb. Okay, Ron, you have a topic for us. Yesterday, you were a big famous MC.
Yes.
All right.
At Live Inspired. Ooh.
Live Inspired.
Oh, gosh.
But
they're spelled the same.
It's spelled the same, yeah. You got the spelling
Tricky,
right.
stinking English language.
This is, I believe, the 4th time that I've emceed for them. And each time the group gets bigger. We used to use just half of the ballroom at Weymouth Country Club. They had to use the entire one.
Ooh.
250 people came out last
great.
night.
That's awesome.
This ministry just knocks my socks off. And I was wearing socks, so that was kind of embarrassing.
Bare feet, huh?
What they do, they take the under-resourced in Medina County.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think she said like about 28,000. If your family income is below 28,000, you're eligible for this. Oftentimes, these are single-parent families.
Mm-hmm.
They take the 2 to 4-year-olds. So you'll start the program at age 2, and a home visitor comes and twice a week meets with you. Now, the first level is they're meeting with the child.
Mm-hmm.
They bring a book, often a toy as well, sometimes related to the story they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they read with the child. And, you know, they've been taught the best way to read, like you interact with the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like Goodnight Moon, you're always looking for where that little mouse is popping up in the pictures,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So they will interact with the child, and they can't read at the age of 2, but they can learn the story.
Mm-hmm.
And you stay with them till they're 3, and then at 4, after the second year, they graduate. The second level is you're also teaching the parent how to interact with their child.
Okay.
Many of them, if they come from generational poverty, they probably didn't have that model.
Mm-hmm.
And so the parent is learning how to read along with their child, how to interact and, play along in the book. The third is they're building up a library of their own. So the kids are starting to, have multiple books they can grab and sit down and read with their parents, mm-hmm. if they're around, siblings. And another level is the home visitor is like a cheerleader for the mom or dad, if the case may be,
Mm-hmm.
because so often these people are stressed and they so badly want to be a good mom, and they just need somebody to come alongside and say, you're doing a good job. Look, your child is well behaved, is
Mm-hmm.
is normal, if they're not well behaved like you might anticipate. But in Medina County alone, 13,795 people live in poverty. Those people in poverty hear 30 million less words by the age of 4 than those in, higher level of economic status.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine, if it's a single parent family and their mom's busy washing and cleaning and cooking and all that stuff, they're not getting interaction
Mm-hmm.
like that. And so 30 million words, it's quite a difference. These kids then, when they go to kindergarten, they're not prepared. And that puts them behind the 8 ball. It makes it harder on the teacher, but harder on the student too.
Mm-hmm.
And if they catch up, it's usually by 5th or 6th grade before they can catch up. This ministry, Live Inspired, makes it possible for them to enter the graduates, according to statistics, obviously here, they perform 10 months ahead of their chronological age when entering school. So instead of being behind, they're actually ahead. And I just think that's good for the student. It's good for the parent. It's good for their siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good for society that if our kids are all increased, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can strengthen those links that are bound to be weaker, and then our whole chain is stronger. Our society is better off. The biggest problem is they don't have enough helpers. They, God bless them. There's a number of them that are retired teachers who still love interacting with kids,
Mm-hmm.
but they just can't handle the, lesson plans every day for 9 months of the year. Here it's much more simple. It's just with the young kids. The kids look forward to seeing you. I love this ministry so much, and I just want to tell people about it. If you're interested to learn more, liveinspired.us is their website, and it works just in Medina County, but if you're from another county, you can contact them and they can help point you if there's a similar ministry in your area, or maybe it's something that you can start. God may be calling you.
That's awesome.
7:14 on Mornings with Brian. It's Follow-Up Friday. That means the show is yours. What do you want to talk about? We've talked about ice cream. We've talked about some marital financial struggles. We can talk about all kinds of things. Text or call with your question or your topic. And we've got Jaime Buxton here from the City Mission. So if you want to talk about anything Jaime may be able to talk about, what are those things, Jaime, that you could talk about, want to talk about?
So many things. I mean, I could have really leaned into some of those things Ron was just talking about. But yeah, we can talk about poverty. We can talk about people experiencing homelessness. We can talk about my favorite color, pink. We can
anything.
We can talk about anything.
Yeah, Galley Boy or a Sky High. What's your favorite?
I don't know the difference.
Galley Boy is Swenson's, Sky High is Skyway.
I've never heard of Skyway.
Me neither.
Oh,
And I've
Akron
only
area.
had Swenson's once.
Oh my.
Jaime, I've had Swenson once, and I've lived here a year and a half.
I know. Sorry.
So you're going to go to Swenson's, and I'm going to go to
Skyway.
I've
Mitchell's.
been.
Yes, that's probably more accurate.
I'm going to go to Mitchell's or Honey
Hut.
Hut. I always want to call it like Honey Nut or Honey Cut.
It's a Honey Hut.
Honey Hut. Okay. 7:15 on Mornings with Brian. Text or call with your topic, 440-546-2255.
Pastors have to make tons of decisions, including what to do to meet healthcare needs for themselves and their staff. Christian Healthcare Ministries specializes in making healthcare decisions easy and affordable. Not insurance, but a health cost sharing ministry for over 40 years. CHM opens the door for individuals, families, and yes, pastors to be a part of a biblical way to meet medical bills. Get more information and answers to your questions at chministries.org/Moody. That's chministries.org/Moody.
Did you know the average American owns 6 or more pairs of shoes? But today, there are millions of children throughout the world who lack access to shoes altogether. Because of that, they won't be able to attend school, and they risk illness and disease. This spring, Buckner International and Moody Radio are partnering with you to provide new shoes and socks to some of the world's most vulnerable children. We've identified 42,000 kids who need shoes right now. You can meet this dire need for a child, providing health, offering dignity, and expressing the love of Christ by donating new shoes today. Give today at giveshoesnow.com and change the life of a child forever. Dignity and hope may be only a pair of shoes away for a child in need. Will you join us to give new shoes and socks and share the love of Jesus with these kids? Right now, 42,000 children are waiting for someone like you and me to provide the gift of new shoes. Give today at giveshoesnow.com.
It's a no negativity zone on Moody Radio Cleveland and Mornings with Brian.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Follow-up Friday. The show is yours. What do you want to talk about? It's 7:20 from Mornings with Brian. Brian is out this week. He is in Atlanta watching his daughter graduate this morning from Army basic training. Excited for the Dolan family on that step of their journey. It feels like it came so fast.
I mean, I'm sure they don't feel like it because this has been a long process. But yeah, I feel like we just sent her off.
I know. We.
Obviously.
We all sent her off.
I'm sure our listeners feel that way too.
Yes,
we just sent her off.
We did. Yep. So that's happening. And then she'll stay until July for her infantry training, like the further training. So excited for them.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of questions. The first is for you, Jamie.
Okay.
What volunteer opportunities are there at the city mission?
Oh, my goodness.
Love hearing about potential volunteer opportunities, particularly for those who work full-time and maybe don't have a lot of time for volunteering.
There are so many opportunities, Debbie. Thank you for texting. I would say check out our website at thecitymission.org.
THE.
The City Mission. brand new website. It's got a lot of fun pictures, and all of the job descriptions are on there. Because our programming is during work hours, most of our like heavier, really one-on-one volunteer opportunities do fall between 9 and 3 p.m. during the week. So I get how that can be frustrating for people who work full time, but we have opportunities for Christian mentors to come alongside our kids. I just found out that every Friday and into the evening is Love Day at Crossroads for our men. So they I know that's not actually, now that I say that out loud, a little weird. We've been really challenged to love each other, and our staff at Crossroads have taken that 10 steps further. And so Fridays are like, they bake cookies with the men and they play cornhole and basketball, and like that trickles into the evening. So yeah, there's opportunities there for sure. And then we always have opportunities at our front desk answering phones.
Oh, that's cool.
And in our clothing room at Laura's home. So don't be put off by the fact that, yes, a lot of them are during work time hours. There are some things. And really our heart at the mission is, like I call us like matchmakers. We want to hear like what makes your heart beat fast, what gets you excited about ministering and at the city mission, and then find the right spot for you. It's not just about checking a box for us. It's really, if you're going to feel fulfilled, you're going to bring fulfilling ministry to the people we serve. And we want to make sure we're doing that on both ends. So check out thecitymission.org, brand new website.
Looks
I'm
good.
on it. Lauren.
Yes, I saw it this morning.
I'm a little awkward in that picture.
No, you're not. It's great.
I am a little awkward in that picture. But yeah, if you were curious about more of what we do, it is there.
Yeah. One thing my church does is twice a month, a group goes up to Crossroads and serves dinner to the men.
Yes.
And often they're putting out the call for baked goods because we're going to be going up that week.
I love it.
And so we take up pies or cookies or whatever and then serve the food that's already prepared. So
And does your church, Ron, because I try to, so the first thing is, I know it sounds like a lot. They've got almost 100 guys at Crossroads. How much does that cost? If you do it right and you're shopping right, it's about $300, which, is, or a little less,
spread
depending
amongst
on
a small
what
group could be okay.
Amongst a small group or a church that divides it somehow. But my favorite thing about meal providing is you serve the meal and then you grab yourself a plate and go sit down and get to know some of the residents that are there.
Yeah.
Yes, you still have to get back up and help clean up in the kitchen and all those things, but take a moment. I think it's like the best first date of volunteering. Like it's a way you can fall in love with the people that we serve for sure.
If you have, like your small group wants to do maybe kind of like Ron's saying, a once a month or once a quarter, can you do those types of things?
Yeah.
That like work with your small group night?
Absolutely. So I mean, a meal is an easy one, although it does come with a price tag. I just worked with a small group that's going to come in and help us at the end of the month. They're coming in and we're switching our clothing room from winter clothes to spring clothes.
Oh, yeah.
So 10 people are coming in during their small group time in the evening. And then I had a women's group call and say, hey, we want to come in May, and they're going to do a game night at Laura's home.
That's fun.
Bring all board games and like.
So you can come up with your own ideas of
and
how.
Most of the time we can accommodate them.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. Yes.
Yes.
But no, most of the time we can. And we want to.
Yeah.
We want to.
Someone asked, I have some beautiful clothing that doesn't fit me anymore. Could I donate it to Laura's home?
Absolutely. We take gently used clothing all the time. Right now, all donations still go to the City Mission at 5310 Carnegie. So you have to head downtown to drop those items off because we just don't have a warehouse at Laura's home. They sort and store at our main campus, and then it goes over to Laura's home as we can use it.
And when you hear downtown, don't be scared.
No.
Even though it's near East 55th, it's not a bad location.
No.
And it's got a nice parking lot big enough for you to park right there at the building and walk in.
And the guys come out. We have staff, and then as well as some of our residents. You don't have to get out of your car. If you pull up to the big garage, they come right out, get everything out of your car, and bring the receipt to your window.
Oh,
it's
that's
a beautiful
nice.
thing.
What other kind of items can you take for Laura's home? Can you take baby stuff, kid stuff?
You can take mostly clothing is what we take. Unfortunately, so many baby items are, like car seats and things like that, we just can't take used due to liability. And that is a real bummer. So mostly just clothing. You can bring new hygiene items, or if you have a bag of diapers where you only use 2, absolutely bring those by. Just tape them up because it's going to a warehouse first, right? And so, mostly clothing. We don't take a ton of housewares, although I know our guys make exceptions from time to time because we do have people who move out into housing on their own. And so we keep a few things in the back so that we're able to send the men and women with a couple items. And we don't take gently used bedding. I know a lot of people want to do that. And please find somewhere else that will accept it. But we want our residents to feel really, really cared about. And the first thing that they're going to get is hygiene items from us and a new clean bed. And so we take new bedding to make that really nice because that's our entry point of relationship with the people we serve. And so we want them to feel really good about their accommodations.
And can you give us an update on the new condos you have, or apartments? What are you calling them?
Our transitional housing.
Yeah.
So I think we have about 7 of the units filled of the 16 right now. In fact, we've got some events coming up over the next few weeks because we want to make sure people get to tour those before they get all full. Because once they're full, we're not going to be able to just pop in and let me tour your apartment, right? But we're super excited. The families that are in are thriving. They're working. So to be part of Rothstein Village, that's our transitional housing, you need to have completed the program at Laura's home. You need to be employed for at least 6 weeks before you can enter into that. And then you can live in these beautiful 3-bedroom, 2 full bathroom apartments for 18 to 24 months. During that time, you're going to keep working. You're going to have your own specific case manager through the city mission, but we're also going to start introducing you to our friends at Habitat for Humanity, and they're going to start doing some basic plumbing, housekeeping, budgeting, some things we've already touched on, but it's going to take you deeper during this time. And the goal for those women, and of course we just opened, but the goal for that at the end of 18 to 24 months is that you have enough money to save up for a down payment of a low interest mortgage home that you can purchase through Habitat for Humanity. We are really excited about this. Takes us out of having to build homes or figure out where homes are. Habitat has an amazing supply of homes. There's lots of government, or has been lots of government funding in that area. So they are building and doing, and they are excited about working with our residents. So it's a beautiful partnership. I love to see when God brings together, the city mission where I've been for a long, long time, but then other partners that, our hearts beat fast over the same thing. So really exciting. Things are moving.
I was just about to ask you about, are you providing help of how do I budget now that I have a house and right now I don't have to pay for water and electrical and all this stuff, but soon I will.
Yeah.
And you and Habitat for Humanity are doing that.
Yes. So budgeting is part of the program at Laura's home anyway. It's going to go more in depth when you're staying in transitional housing because, yes, our whole goal is that the ladies and their families, when they move anywhere from out of Laura's home, we want them to feel stable. And then our big key word right now is resilient. Because we know that their life is not going to be perfect, just like our lives aren't perfect. So we're preparing them for what life looks like after Laura's home. But then when hardships pop back up, how do we stay resilient? And what resources do they have? So that will only go deeper with their case manager. And then as we partner with Habitat, what being a homeowner really entails.
Yeah. It's 7:31 on Mornings with Brian. It's Follow-Up Friday. What do you want to talk about? This topic we've just been talking about, Laura's home and the city mission, Crossroads, it was all because of you. You brought that question to us. So what question do you have? Text or call 440-546-2255.
This is David with the ministry India Partners. And since teaming up with Moody Radio, here's the impact that you have made. Girls as young as 8 have been rescued from a hopeless future and work that no one should ever have to do.
When I first got to the safe house, I was so happy to be safe and out of the red light area. I felt love like I had never felt before.
They're given 3 meals a day and life-saving health care.
When I was brought to the safe house, I didn't even weigh 50 pounds. I feel so healthy and safe here, safer than I ever knew I could be.
Plus, you've made a kingdom impact.
I also remember going to church for the first time. Now I read my Bible and worship Him every day.
And these girls know how it's all possible.
Thank you, Moody Radio.
Learn more about how India Partners is rescuing girls from being trafficked. Go to indiapartners.org/Moody.
Helping you take the next step in your walk with Jesus. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
.35 on Mornings with Brian. That was Francesca Battistelli. It's Follow Up Friday. The show is yours. What do you want to talk about? We've had lots of topics today. We just finished talking about the City Mission, Laura's Home, Crossroads Ministries, how you can serve, where you can serve, and being creative in how you serve.
Yes.
It's been fun to talk about. We have another question. I would so appreciate if you would chat about work. Recently, I've been feeling like I'm working my life away, but I know it's necessary, and I'm looking for joy and fulfillment of work. I'm 19.
Whew. At 19, that's a tough one. I mean, if I'm being totally transparent, and I just said where I work and I love the work, but there are seasons where I can totally relate to. I feel like I'm working my life away. There are certain seasons where it's just more is required of me. But goodness, at 19, that is tough. So I guess I have more questions than I have answers.
I mean, at that age, yeah, working is going to be really hard. I mean, when I was 19, I had a job that would make me go home in tears most days. That's unfortunately just kind of the season you're in.
Right.
But eventually you get to a point where you go to a job that you can at least tolerate, if not enjoy. That's the goal, and you'll get there. It'll just take some time. Be patient. I know it's hard. I remember those days very clearly. It wasn't all that long ago, but just hang in there. I know it's rough.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're not working in your dream job just yet at 19. You know, and so you've got to start somewhere. And so hang in there is the right thing. But if you're working totally outside of, what makes you happy, find ways to inch closer to that. When I started work, and I've only really worked one place, and that has been at the City Mission. So I've worked there 20 years this May. I'm an old lady.
Wow.
I know.
You started when
I
you
was
were
2.
5.
I was 2 when I started.
Ron, please.
Not 5. I was 2. And it was not my dream job, but the more that I excelled and met those things, I was able to do some things that brought me more joy. And that I believe fully that the Lord and then people like the illustrious Linda, who is a mentor to me, saw that and brought me into deeper positions where I did feel more fulfilled. And now, I truly am in my dream job. It just is who I want to be, and it uses my talents. And so, but that doesn't happen overnight. And I think that's tough. I mean, so find ways that you can show a little bit of you in your role, whatever that role is. And hopefully that'll bring you some joy.
And when Jimmy and I first started dating, he actually didn't think it was possible to enjoy a job. It's like, work is just something you have to do. It's part of life. I will never enjoy a job. We've been married 4 years together for about 7. He's in a job that he loves. He did not think that was possible, but he genuinely enjoys what he does now.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm curious. At 19, I'm assuming you're not college bound, which is fine. I'm not trying to make that a judgment, but that just colors where you might be heading. If you're interested in a trade, you can either try to get into that trade, with a employment situation. And if no one picks you up at that, you can further your education. I recently heard about Home Depot having an online Path to Pro program where they do online classes and you pick carpentry, electric, plumbing, whatever, and you follow their online classes, which will give you a big jump in your knowledge. You're still going to have to get some practical training, but if you've got that knowledge, it makes you more desirable to a potential employer. So think about what it is you'd like to do. At 19, you don't want to be job hopping like every 6 months. Oh, I hate this job. Let me try another. And I hate that job. Try another. But you can make a couple of moves along the way to get closer to what you really enjoy doing. But there is also sometimes you've just got to keep working. So stick it out.
When I was just graduated from college, so I was just a little bit older than you are, I was kind of in an in-between phase, and I worked at restaurants. I was a host at 2 restaurants, and that was not my dream job. That was not what I wanted to do, but it was a place where you don't have to have much experience and you can just start working. And it was a lot of late nights, and all of my friends worked regular people jobs. And so I was lonely a lot of the time. I would get home at 11 midnight and eat my dinner and watch a show by myself in the dark. I'd have maybe a roommate peer out with squinty eyes and be like, "Hi, good to see you. I'm going back to bed." Because she had to get up for work at 6. And then I'd wake up at 10 or something in the morning and start my day. And so it was just a really lonely time for me. And I felt similar. I worked all the holidays. I worked weekends because that's what you do at a restaurant. And so I felt pretty lonely, and I was working full time. And so I also kind of felt like I was, working my life away. And I just kind of had to say, this is what I'm doing for now as I'm trying to find what that other thing may be for me, or what that next path is for me. And then I had to find, kind of like you said, I'm looking for joy and fulfillment of work. I had to find at this job what's bringing me joy and fulfillment. Maybe it's not the job, but maybe it's this person that I'm able to connect with.
Right.
This new friend, or you found a mentor that you could, work with you and train you up into something new. So maybe it's just finding like moments or people or things at the job, and maybe it's not necessarily the job in full bringing fulfillment. They texted back and said, I graduated last year and took a gap year to travel with the team that works with Christian school kids, saving for college in the fall. My burden is to work with teens. Yeah, so it's just like a really hard transitional time.
Yeah. But there's a
hopefully
there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? You know what you're working for, and so that's amazing.
And good on you for taking a gap year. I think too many people are afraid to do that. But yeah, saving up that money, figuring out what you really want to do before you go to school, good for you.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah, so I think just kind of knowing that what you want to do is coming, and be able to just I just got to get through this season of working. I have to make money to be able to live. That's just part of what our culture and world is right now, that you have to make money to live. And so you just kind of put your head down and work, but maybe find those little things in your job that could bring you joy, bring fulfillment, a new friend, or someone that you could invest in, someone that God's calling you to pour into, or you find a mentor at your job, someone that you're like, oh, I really like how they work. And they don't have to be like decades older than you.
Right.
Just someone who you value how they work, you value their work ethic. Maybe they do something at work like, okay, for me, that would be someone who's really good at administrative skills. Oh, I want to learn from this person how they do that. And you kind of ask them, or maybe just make it unofficial. You step under their wing and learn from them while you're at this job.
For sure.
But finding little pieces along the way when you're just kind of a part of the have to work
club.
Yeah. It's not fun. But there is times where you just kind of have to do it. Any other thoughts? No. It's 7:44 on Mornings with Brian. It's Follow-Up Friday. What do you want to talk about? Text or call with your thoughts, or if there's something we've talked about today or earlier in this week that you want us to get back into, text or call 440-546-2255.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I'm Claire from Trinity Debt Management. I'm a counselor, and the reason that I love working for Trinity is because I get to help folks with one of the hardest problems a family can face, and that's financial difficulties. In this day and age, everything is going up. You have higher utilities, higher grocery bills, higher fuel, and those credit card interest rates have gone up as well. We can help you with that. We can help you get lower interest rates, lower monthly payments. In just a few minutes, we put together a plan that gets you out of debt and keeps you out of debt. I love my job. It's a great program and a very smart way to find debt relief.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838.
I'm Claire, a Trinity counselor. Call me and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-659-9838.
It's not insurance, and that's a new way of thinking for some families. Christian Healthcare Ministries is a credible way to meet family healthcare costs affordably, biblically, and effectively, whether starting or growing your family. Serving families as a nonprofit healthcare sharing ministry for over 40 years, CHM has offered families the freedom to choose how they would like to meet healthcare costs. Be pleasantly surprised and find answers to your questions at chministries.org/Moody. That's chministries.org/Moody.
Join the conversation by call or text at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
For your spirit, soul, and body, it's Mornings with Brian, live from the North Coast Family Foundation sponsored studios. Good morning from Moody Radio Cleveland. It's Follow-Up Friday.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Ron just reminded me she did a new one.
No.
But it sounded exactly the same as
That
the
was
recorded
live.
one.
Just not. There you go. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a new one.
Yeah.
That was real.
That was real. I mean,
If you wanted to see Jamie do that, we are on a live stream.
Hammer time.
Excuse me?
I don't know, but
That's not
really, you're so lucky I didn't bust out in a rap
I know.
dance because came close.
If you want to see what Jamie looks like, maybe you've heard her multiple times on this show and you're like, I don't actually know what she looks like. Check out our live stream.
Thank you.
We have a new improved live stream.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Do I
worth
look
a
prettier on it?
Yes. It's very fancy.
You do actually, because the camera quality is better.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
More like the real you in all its beauty.
Oh, thank you. I was like, I don't know about that.
So text LIVE, LIVE, to 440.
Or live.
You can text live too.
Guys. Live or live to 440-546-2255. You'll get a link back to our YouTube. And not only can you watch us live, but a plethora of our past videos cut into short bits or the full live stream. What else, Daria, is there? Playlists?
Yeah, we got playlists. We know a lot of you have been curious about tariffs. We had two experts that approached the tariffs from different perspectives. We had Dave Safransky as well as Mark Caleb Smith. Both those videos are on our YouTube. If you want to listen back, watch those.
Yes, tariffs, they're everywhere. So you can go learn more. Text live to 440-546-2255. We got another question about work. Are you guys ready?
Let's go.
Put on your work pants. I am 30. I absolutely hate my job. And I haven't found anything that pays more to replace my job. I want to do something else, but I don't have a career in mind. I even have an associate in engineering and a bachelor's in business, and I can't seem to get an interview outside of the financial field. So it sounds like they're currently in the financial field. Don't like their job, want to look elsewhere.
I would recommend talking to a career counselor. My dad did that for about 25 years. He helps people find their passions, what their interests are, and then also just kind of give them ideas that they had never even considered that might interest them. So that's something you can do. You might actually, your college probably has one. As an alumni, you could probably access those services for free.
Oh, yeah. I never thought about going back. That's a great idea. Jamie, any thoughts from you?
You know, this is a text, so and I don't know you, so I know little bits, so it's hard to respond, you know, in big answers. But you know, I read very clearly that you said I haven't found anything that pays more to replace my job, and you know, I'm assuming since you work in the financial field that maybe you're making a good amount of money, and I can understand that you wouldn't want to, you know, give that up, but. You know, possibly you need to look at just making the same or a little bit less and changing some of your living habits to be able to kind of open up your search a little bit more. But again, I don't know what that actually means. And so, yeah, my heart hurts for you to say you're 30 and you hate your job. That stinks. And so, yeah, maybe open up the search a little bit by looking a little below what you're making if you can.
I thought this exact same thing. That I thought immediately, I haven't found anything higher pay, but do you need more money?
Right.
And I would suggest getting involved in different ministries. And you don't have to commit for a long term, but, you know, maybe you go serve food at the city mission. Maybe you, whatever it may be, but try out, get involved a little bit with different ministries, and it may offer you some insights into what you really do enjoy. And Daria's idea, the career counselor, that makes a ton of sense.
Great. Yeah.
I was also thinking about, I have a friend who wanted to get out of their current job, and they're in sales. And they were looking at sales just in the type of field that they're selling right now. And it took them having to go outside of the field that they're in right now. So maybe, I don't know what kind of finances there are. Okay. But maybe, maybe you have to go outside of the current, maybe you work finance for insurance. Okay. Let's just say it. Maybe you need to go outside of insurance finance.
Right.
Because there's going to be skills that are the same that you can transfer over just to a different field. Maybe you look at a field in radio.
Radio finance?
Radio finance. Okay, you just go somewhere else, and there's going to be transferable skills, but it might help widen your search.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like you said, Jamie, maybe you can't find something with more money, but what's more important, your mental and emotional health for you and your friends, or if you have kids and a spouse, what's more important? I would say keeping the same amount of money, if you're not able to make less, keeping the same amount of money, but coming home emotionally and mentally well for your family or your friends and for yourself is more important.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hate your job, that's coming home with you.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is not your life. Your job is not your worth or your meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes a job is just a way to make money because we got to make money.
Yeah.
And so you need to be well for the people around you and for yourself. And so I would say get out even if it's a job that pays the same, or if you're able to, pays less, just so that you can have a better well-being for those around you and for yourself.
And if you really can't change jobs, then maybe you have to reframe. I like what Lauren said earlier about finding things about your job you do like, whether it's a person, someone you can learn from, or just reframing your thoughts as this is not ideal and it's not what I want to do, but it puts food on the table. It supports my family. I'm doing this for the glory of the Lord until something better comes along.
Yeah, my husband had a job in the past where for him it was like, this is not my passion. This is not like, as Jamie said today, like, this is not what makes my heart beat fast. I don't get excited about this, but this is a job and I just have to have this job. I have to make money. I have to care for my family. And so for right now, I don't like my job, but I have to get through this season until I can find something I do like. And sometimes that means you are searching for jobs for like years. And there's seasons where you're able to put in a lot of applications and there's seasons where you can't. There's seasons where a lot of people are getting back to you and then there's seasons that no one's getting back to you. And sometimes people just don't get back to you for like months when you're looking for jobs. And it's like, okay, first of all, that's rude. But Daria was talking about one time when she was looking for a job, you forgot.
Yeah, no, it was an internship while I was in college. It took so long for these people to get back to me. I forgot I applied and showed up for the interview having no idea who these people were or what was going on, and they offered it to me anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes it just takes a while. But with being in the financial field, you have transferable skills.
For sure.
You just might have to search different types of jobs for those transferable skills. Someone texted in fundraising. You could get into fundraising.
Come work at the City Mission.
You could find...
There's not a job opening right now. Sorry.
Thanks.
Just want to clarify.
So you could find places that finances is a big deal. Development, helping to raise money. You still have to be good with numbers and development because you're breaking down costs of... hey, this is how much it costs to help fund our something like the City Mission or fund this project.
Bible Radio.
Exactly. So there's a lot of transferable skills. You may just have to broaden the search a little bit. And like others have said, you may have to take a little bit of a pay cut or keep the same pay. But if you're not willing to do that, then maybe find small things you do take joy in. And maybe that's even you get a free cup of coffee there every day. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to have my free cup of coffee at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here's a suggestion that costs you nothing, and I can't guarantee the outcome, but go to an AI like Perplexity or ChatGPT and type in, I'm looking for a change of career. Here are my skills. I've got a associates of engineering, and if it's a specific area like civil engineering or mechanical or whatever, put that in. I have the degree in finance. I have experience in these areas, and this is the kind of things that I would like to pursue, and just type in as much information in the prompt as you can, and then let them spit back to you some ideas of what other fields might be available, because they're surprisingly intuitive in these artificial intelligence, and they may give you some, like, be a clown for Barnum and Bailey, and you can say, oh, no, I'll skip that one, but
they don't even exist anymore.
Well, definitely don't go there. You won't get a paycheck, but they'll give you some ideas that might inspire you to look around.
Someone texted in their first-time texter. Yay, we love first-time texters.
Yay.
I view the work that I do as an act of worship. At the end of the day, I lift my hands and say, Father, I pray that you accept this day as a sacrifice, holy and acceptable. It doesn't always make work easier or more enjoyable, but it certainly gives me a better perspective, and a sacrifice that costs me little isn't a very good sacrifice.
Yes.
So just some thoughts. What do you want to talk about, or what thoughts do you have on this topic? It's 7:59 on Mornings with Brian. Text or call with what you want to talk about, your thoughts, 440-546-2255.
It's Mornings with Brian from the North Coast Family Foundation sponsored studios. Christian counseling for adults, couples, children, and families. North Coast Family Foundation. WCRF Cleveland. WVMS Sandusky. WVML Millersburg. WVMN Newcastle. WVME Meadville. WVMU Ashtabula. And with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
The Food and Drug Administration plans to phase out animal testing requirements for antibody therapies and some drugs in favor of AI-based models and other practices. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. The FDA Commissioner Marty McCary says the move would make drugs safer, lower costs, and deal with the ethical concerns surrounding animal testing. The agency said it will also encourage the use of lab-grown samples that mimic human organs to test drugs. Documents show a former Twinsburg police officer dropped accusations of corruption and misconduct on the part of the department in exchange for a nearly $90,000 payout. Matthew Pfeiffer went to court with his claims last year after being terminated. As part of the deal, the city changed paperwork surrounding Pfeiffer's exit from the department to reflect a voluntary resignation in good standing. And every state trooper across Pennsylvania is now equipped with a body camera when they head out on patrol. Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Colonel Christopher Paris announced that the 2-year camera rollout is now complete, ahead of schedule and on budget. In sports, the Cavaliers couldn't keep up with the Pacers 114-112, but the Guardians turned down the White Sox 6-1. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Patchy fog this morning. It'll be cloudy with highs in the lower 40s. At last check, cloudy skies, 36 in Cleveland, 33 Akron and Canton, 34 in Ashtabula.
It's time for your moron moment.
Barbershop Quartet Day is on April 11th. This art of harmonized singing produces a style without the need for accompanying music. Barbershop quartets are deeply rooted in African American history, with the improvisational elements influencing both early jazz and gospel quartets. Throughout the 1880s in the South, men mingled with barbers and others in the shop while waiting for their haircut. This sound turned into a genre called barbershop music and continued thriving from then on. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 8:03. With Moody Radio News, I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting live from the Bob Devine Studio. It's Mornings with Brian. Want to join the conversation? Call or text now at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
8:07 on Mornings with Brian, Moody Radio Cleveland. Brian is out, but don't worry, he is feverishly texting us right this exact second. He's texting our group chat, which is affectionately called That Girl. It's all four of us, me, Brian, Ron, and Daria.
I'm feeling very left out all of a sudden. Brian.
I don't think you want to be on this
That
group.
girl?
Yeah, you don't want to be on this group text. It's just a Brian sending pictures. But he is gone. He is in Georgia watching his daughter very shortly about to graduate from basic training. So it's very exciting. Oh. So he will be back on Wednesday with us. We've been talking about work. We had someone text in who hates their job. Mm-hmm. They can't find something that's going to make more money, which they need, and they just don't know what to do. So they're asking for some advice. And we've got Hannah, tips for enjoying work. Hannah, what have you got for us?
I just wanted to give some encouragement that, the money is always so hard to find more money, but just hating the job, it's, again, finding those, little pieces of gratitude throughout the day. And for me, I just left a job I was dreading going to and went into a job with more problems, it feels. But I'm trying to, have God's glory show through me and just to be the better worker and the harder worker and put my head down and just try to get it done and just realize that it's not for me, it's for God's glory, and that I'm trying to be a light to others so that they can see what he can do through me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes maybe there's a purpose of you being there, even when we can't see it. And it's wow, hey, God, I hate this actually. Mm-hmm. But there's someone that you are being a light to, and you might not even know it. And so if you're able to kind of step into that role that God's asked you to do at that job, you may be a light for someone, and they may think of you for years and years and years. I remember at a job I worked at, everyone was like, why are you, I worked at a bar. They're like, you're different. Why are you so different? And that gave me an opportunity to share who Jesus is. And oh, well, this is why I'm different.
Yes.
You asked me. Why? I'll tell you. So sometimes you're right, Hannah. You just have to find those small little glimmers of hope.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I was listening to is Casting Crowns. It's kind of, I feel like sometimes in the moment right now, I'm like, well, I don't have that one awkward moment, that song that they have, but I feel like I'm trying to prepare for that every day. I go into work and try to, push through those hardships. I'm like, okay, I'm just getting ready for when I have that awkward moment and I can step out and be that light even brighter for someone. So
yeah, people at work are always everyone's struggling. Life is hard, and so people are going to bring that to work.
And most people don't want to be there. If you hate your job, you're probably not the only one.
Yeah, working is working is work. It's not fun.
I like this job. I'd rather be somewhere else, though.
I'd rather be on my couch.
I'd rather still be sleeping.
Yes, exactly. We're on the beach. Yeah. So there's people are going to bring their hardships to work, and as people who follow Jesus, we get to be hope and opportunity to people who may bring their hardships to work.
Yep.
Hannah, do you have any Mornings with Brian gear, a mug, anything like that?
No, I don't. This is my first time calling in, and I just recently started listening to you guys back in November.
Oh, wonderful. So. Well, thank you for joining us. If you can stay on the line, Daria's going to get your info, and we'll send you some Mornings with Brian stuff.
Oh, great. I'm excited.
Thanks, Hannah. Be like Hannah. Be a first-time caller.
That was awesome.
That's so fun. Mm-hmm. We love our new listeners. We love our old listeners. Not old and age. Well, them too. Yeah. But those who've been listening for years. We love everybody. Okay, so the person who had this question of hating their job, they did text back in and said, I can't afford to go lower. I must go up, and I love people. Okay, so you're in financial field. Business degree. Okay. I am thinking something in the development world.
I am too.
Raising money for an organization. Mm-hmm. And that may not look like you're crunching the numbers every day, but maybe you are doing galas to raise money, and you have to be creative in ways to raise money. You have to go out and meet with people and say, hey, we need these funds. And someone who has a financial mind has the opportunity to say, you're not as scared to talk about money.
Right.
People who do finance are not scared to say yeah, obviously we need money to run this organization.
Right.
So maybe look into some organizations that kind of tug on your heart, or types of situations that tug on your heart, whether that's foster care, adoption, people experiencing homelessness, all kinds of prison ministry, what kind of stuff tug on your heart? Because we all have those things. And what's that thing that tugs on your heart? And maybe in those areas, you look for something in fundraising or development because you love people, you want to serve people, but you have this financial mind and a business mind, which is kind of what's needed for development. Jamie, you could probably speak into that more, working at a nonprofit.
Well, and I am on the development team.
Look at us.
My role is a little bit differently than those who work directly with donors. But yeah, absolutely. You have to have a financial mind, and what people want to understand now is how their money is being used. And so that takes a financial mind for us to help break down, the thousands and millions of dollars that we spend at an organization, breaking it down to this is your individual impact. We call it a DIP. A donor individual, I don't know. Shoot, I hope my boss isn't listening.
Linda, turn the radio off.
But I think I really do think that could be a good spot for you. May not be in the where you need to be financially coming in. So keep looking around. I mean, you're still talking about organizations that the intake of money is used mostly for residents. So, but if you can, or the people that they serve. So, but that would be a way to love people, advocate for an organization, and use that finance degree. So just look at development and fundraising roles. I think that would be a really good spot. And hey, if you want to call us at the City Mission, my boss would love to talk to you about. She's had lots of roles where she's worked at 3 different nonprofits in fundraising, and so she's amazing at this. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've solved it.
Done.
Solved. We do hope that you are able to find a job that you enjoy. What she says, Linda, listening?
My chief financial officer is listening, and he said, "Don't make me call
Michael,
in."
What is it?
But actually, we have a chief financial officer.
Exactly.
No, this is John Jelenic.
Oh,
he razzes me a lot of time.
What
And
did he
yes,
say?
I just said your name. He said, "Don't make me call in right now."
John, please do.
Yeah, the challenge has been laid out there.
Did he give you the right acronym?
He didn't.
Oh, well, John.
So we're still in the dark.
So we still don't know the answer. It's 8:14 on Mornings with Brian. What do you want to talk about? We've got some stuff that we can talk about, but we have plenty of time. Text or call 440-546-2255.
Moody Radio is thankful for listeners and support from businesses like Duma Meats and Farm Market. Duma Meats and Farm Market, supporting Moody Radio in Cleveland and surrounding areas. More information about Duma Meats and Farm Market is at dumameats.com.
Making assumptions is rarely a good idea. That's true when it comes to thinking healthcare costs can't be affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries has been helping believers meet their healthcare needs for over 40 years. It's not insurance, it's a ministry. Visiting chministries.org/Moody eliminates assumptions and shows how this unique model has worked to meet the healthcare needs of hundreds of thousands of Christians. Get more information and have your questions answered at chministries.org/Moody.
Wondering what it looks like to apply deep doctrinal truths to your life? Check out the course on the Book of Romans from Moody and Rich, our continuing education platform. This course will cover topics like the universality of sin, union with Christ, the Christian's service, and much more. This is a text-based, self-paced e-course that you can enroll in today for just $34.99. Learn more and enroll at moody.edu/enrich.
Moody Radio is thankful for support from North Coast Family Foundation, helping families by providing a foundation for emotional and spiritual health through biblical counseling. More information is at northcoastfamily.com. That's northcoastfamily.com.
Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland. Looking at today's issues through a biblical perspective.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Friday. What do you want to talk about? The show is yours. We can talk about things discussed already early this week that we didn't get into. There's a bunch of things. Or we can talk about something we haven't discussed yet, something going on in your life, something you saw, the People magazine posted. I don't know what would be in People magazine that you want to talk about, but we can.
I've been too busy. I mean, I do get it's probably multiple daily emails from people. But because that tells you who I am.
We talked about an article that was firstly from People magazine this week. It was about a guy who's 30 and he went to go live with his 90-year-old grandma.
Oh.
And then he started talking about his journey. His father got cancer and he started talking about it on TikTok and how he was able to find a community of people supporting him through his journey of his father eventually passing away. It's very cool. Oh. We got a topic from Chad in Barberton. The ethics of bringing extinct animals back on Earth. The trending news report was the dire wolf.
Yes.
I'm glad you're educated on this, Ron.
Ron, tell us about it.
Yeah, tell us.
Tell us about the wolf.
The dire wolf has been extinct. It's bigger than what we think of wolves today. It's like
it's
a
bigger?
step up. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
already pass.
Yeah. They found a tooth. They took DNA from the tooth and matched it with DNA from a modern gray wolf and manipulate however they need to do that to make it work to be viable living. And they have 2 dire wolf pups. I guess maybe dire wolf with the asterisk because they're not.
Yeah, because they're not full. They're
right.
Also slash gray wolf.
But that's what it is. It's back, and Romulus and Remus are the names of the 2 wolves.
That's funny.
Yeah, so they're there. They're brought back, and a lot of people who, there's fascination with it, obviously, but those who are questioning say,
have seen Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
We have,
that.
We have 6 movies, one of them being good about why this is a bad idea.
And dire wolves went extinct for a reason. So why bring them back? Is it a good thing? What happens? If they become the predator and wipe out their prey, but they don't have a predator to take care of them, keep them in check, they'll overpopulate. And then we'll be worried about, having massive dire wolf hunts to try to keep the population under control.
And then they'll be like the deer on my drive-in and constantly surrounding my car.
And deer are not as scary as wolves.
Exactly.
Like the ecosystem adjusts to, compensate for something that's not there. I think this is a great tool for maybe preventing animals that are endangered from going extinct. If you can clone them to help speed up the reproduction process, I think that's a great idea. Maybe something that very recently went extinct, but something that's we're really far removed from, it's gone. You shouldn't do anything about that.
And we talked a couple weeks or months ago about the dodo bird. They were talking about bringing that back.
And woolly mammoth.
We don't need
those. We're going to need the woolly mammoth.
We need those because I'm going to ride on its back and braid its hair.
The dire wolf eats the woolly mammoths. That's why.
So what?
Yes.
In packs.
I just read why it became extinct, and it was because it relied on mega herbivores and
So this has to be a massive wolf then if it's hunting down mammoths.
They're 25% bigger than a gray wolf.
That's huge.
Oh, my. So here's my thing. Kind of like what you guys were talking about, Ron and Daria, is that it went extinct for a reason.
Yeah.
Whatever that reason is, just as nature...
No mammoths to eat.
Right, exactly. Those went extinct, so then they can't eat mammoths. Okay. So how... It's either going to dominate everything else, or it's just going to go extinct again.
Because there's nothing for it to eat.
Right. Because it already went extinct once for some reason.
It'll probably find something to eat, though. I mean, there's
Hopefully
plenty of deer. There's people.
Yeah,
It'll find
small
something.
children.
But then we'll lose all of our deer because it's eating all the deer.
And then
that wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a little bit less would be helpful for me. I saw about 6 of them staring at me this morning.
Well, that's why we have annual deer hunts.
Yeah. So, ethics of bringing it back. I mean, we've been talking about animal cloning for a long time, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an ethics issue to me as much as a common sense kind of, I guess, scientific, predators and prey for it. Where does it fit in the chain, and will it fit in the chain or overtake it?
It's an ecological issue.
Yeah, because there is an order of how things go. Something is a prey, something's a predator, and they all keep each other kind of in order. Someone said, Colossal is the name of the company that's doing this, and their plan is to use genetic cloning in order to boost populations that are not genetically diverse enough to thrive on their own. Well, if they can't thrive on their own, how are they going to do it after they're here? Because you're combining it with like a gray wolf?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I mean, that would be my guess.
Because you're not boosting
you are
the
guessing.
genetic
I am not that
diversity
smart.
of
I am
population.
guessing.
Interesting. They are really cute little guys right now.
They
Right.
won't be
They are
forever.
I
cute
looked
right
them
now.
up. They're really cute.
I would like to know what's the benefit of bringing them back.
Yeah, I think that was what I was thinking, Ron, is like why this animal versus anything else?
Right. Well, because they found the tooth. So there's just opportunity.
But we find that kind of stuff all the time, no?
Dodo bird stuff.
Right.
I mean,
They were, I guess, made popular in the TV show Game of Thrones. I guess
Oh, by
they
all
were big in
means.
that.
Pop culture,
so
that's
then
all we
yes,
need.
Yeah.
obviously.
But then
Okay.
there were dragons in that
So people
movie
want
too.
pet dire wolves is what
I'm looking
saying.
at a picture of this thing. The best way to describe it, it's a cross between a wolf and a bear. We don't need those. They're gone.
We already have wolves and bears. Yes, Daria, like you said, someone said, all I can think about is Jurassic Park.
Me too.
There's many a science fiction movie, book, show about what happens when we bring these things back.
Yes.
Because, as Daria said, ecologically, our creation changes along with, okay, we lost that, so we got to, figure a new way to do this.
Right.
Well, we've
I'm not
seen
certain we need to do it.
just with international commerce and trade. We've seen how something that exists in one part of the world can wreak havoc if you bring it somewhere else. Like there are invasive species
Yes, so true.
everywhere because they're not supposed to be here, and it causes problems.
I say just let them be extinct. It's sad that they went extinct in the first place.
Well, they went extinct in the Ice Age.
Well, I'm sad for them and saber-toothed tigers. I'm sad that they are gone.
And the woolly mammoths,
It's
apparently.
always sad when animals go extinct, okay? Because they are God's creation too, and now we don't get to see them anymore. But I'm not certain that we need to bring them back.
Well, and there's likely a reason we don't see them anymore.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Not
Just
likely.
like
There
8
is a
tracks.
reason we don't see them anymore.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know where everyone else on the team is, but I'm not certain we need to be doing that.
Scientists were so preoccupied with whether they could, they didn't stop to think whether they should.
Exactly.
And there it is.
Jurassic Park.
It's a great movie.
It's 8:29 on Mornings with Brian. Text or call with what you want to talk about. 440-546-2255.
Moody Radio is thankful for listeners and support from businesses like Duma Meats and Farm Market. Duma Meats and Farm Market, supporting Moody Radio in Cleveland and surrounding areas. More information about Duma Meats and Farm Market is at dumameats.com.
Today, there is a disciple-making church planting movement that's taken root in 40 countries around the world. It's called the Timothy Initiative, and its mission is to see a healthy church planted in every village, everywhere. Since 2007, over 200,000 churches have been planted through the work of the Timothy Initiative, but there's more work to be done. Take your place in the Timothy Initiative. Go to ttiglobal.org.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m. Tried to do it on Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Loving God with our hearts and our minds. It's Mornings with Brian live from the North Coast Family Foundation sponsored studios on Moody Radio Cleveland. It is Follow-Up Friday. Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's almost the weekend.
That's Jaime Buxton of the City Mission. She's here with us today.
Oh yeah.
Ron.
Let it keep playing. Here we go.
You know what this weekend is? The official start of Buxton baseball.
Woo! For your boys?
Just the littlest. No, sorry, two. Yeah. We're in a tournament already.
Too cold.
This
it's not
is an
supposed
indoor
to
tournament.
The woohoo.
It is almost mid-April. It's not supposed to be this cold.
It's too cold.
I know, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not the one that has to sit outside and watch them.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I'm also a track mom right now, and that is for a different breed of people.
Yeah.
That is painful.
Do track parents bring like chairs or do you have to stand?
Apparently. I've only been to 2, and yesterday I realized I was at a disadvantage without the chairs because...
Oh, I would have thought they just stand.
Well, I did.
Okay.
But other parents had all the stuff and the chairs because my kid does the long jump, and then you have to exit the stadium, and then he does shot put and discus. And so those are in very different areas and muddy different areas.
Yeah.
So I learned that after week 1, don't wear my cute white tennis shoes.
Yeah, you got to bring your wellies.
Yeah.
Rain boots.
And so now, but then yesterday I was like, these other moms have got it going on with their chairs. So, yep.
Because you have your full tent contraption.
I do
for
have my
baseball.
tent. I have not busted it out for track, but
You
I did
should.
threaten it yesterday because it
You
was
should.
so cold and people were laughing. I have a tent. I have a heater.
Oh,
Is
nice.
the tent plastic? Is the heater?
You can't have the heater and the tent. Those are 2 separate scenarios.
Yeah.
You just have to pick.
You have to pick
Okay.
which one is going to be better for that day. Yeah, you can't have both. I'm not going to lie. I did think you could combine those things. Sean did avoid
Yeah.
a major catastrophe by letting me know that was not going to work.
I really would have liked to see you though. The tent goes up in flames.
I think I would have died of this, not the smoke,
Asphyxiation.
but whatever it is, like it's a propane tank in a small little hut.
A hut.
It is.
So the hut is for
It's a
if it's
sports hut.
raining. Mm-hmm. And then the heater is for if it's just cold but it's not raining.
What do you do if it's cold and raining?
You cannot have the heater. You wear layers. And
But which would you pick? The hut or
Well,
the heater?
honestly,
if it's raining and
people
cold.
have started laughing at the hut, so I don't use it quite as often as I thought
Don't
that
let
I
that
would.
deter you.
But I'm not going to lie. When the hut is brought out, people want to get in it.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I bring it, they're
there
like,
enough
can I
room?
get...
They're jealous of your
It
hut.
is officially a 2-person hut, but
so it's
I am not a normal sized person. I have the wide load sports chairs for comfortability purposes.
Of course.
So it's more like 1.5 person.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to get in here,
You get the half.
that's
I get
right. This is my tent.
This is my tent.
You get the half, I get the whole.
Sean got mad at me because someone was selling, actually they used a Cricut and put Nordonia on their tents, and I wanted to upgrade.
What's
so
a Cricut? They
Oh,
used
Lauren.
a Cricut.
A Cricut machine?
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Daria?
No.
What's the
Oh,
matter
I
with you
know.
guys? It's like
Ron, you know what it is?
people make
Yeah.
Okay.
T-shirts and cute things, and you can Cricut decals, and
So it's like
Cut
it's a printer.
it's a printer that cuts. How do you guys not know what
Never heard of it in my life.
CRICUT? Cut.
CRICUT.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's a printer.
It's a printer, but then you get the sticky letters and you make
Yeah.
T-shirts. And
Okay, yeah.
It's a
Cuts
fancy
vinyl.
printer.
So anyway, someone was selling Nordonia branded tents, and I was like,
You already have a tent.
that's what Sean said. I said, but they didn't have Nordonia ones that are green.
Well, then
and
you get a
Cricut.
Cricut and you put it on.
Here, I'm not allowed to have a Cricut.
Your
Just like I'm
library.
not allowed to have a membership to Costco, guys. There are
Yeah.
reasons in life.
Wait, you would benefit from Costco.
You need a membership.
Listen,
to
I'm not
Costco.
allowed.
Why not?
You have 4 sons.
We have a Sam's Club membership. It's a
Oh,
little
well,
less
okay.
bougie.
Okay.
That's fine.
Sean says you are not to set foot into a Costco because he knows I will spend way too much money there. Which is
My-
also why he does all of our grocery and shopping.
I have a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old boys.
Mm-hmm.
And currently they're eating everything in the house.
Yes.
It's as if they are termites, okay? And I have to buy once a month, 2 bags of pre-frozen sausages from Costco. 2. There is 68 links in one bag.
And how much sausage do you eat?
0.
Yeah, that's what I figured you were going to say.
And my husband Eddie has his own bag because he doesn't eat much red meat. So he gets the chicken sausages one, and he just gets one bag for himself. I have to get 2 for my tiny little children. 2.
You have no idea.
So I can't imagine. Sean, she needs a Costco membership.
Well,
Hey, Sean?
I have a Sam's Club membership.
Well, can you get giant sausage bags?
Well, nobody likes sausage at my house at this
you're
particular
lucky.
time, but we can't keep things in the house. Like Sean will buy like cookies for lunches.
Yeah,
and
it's gone.
An entire thing of Oreos is gone within 30 minutes. And it's like, you guys are disgusting. Like,
well, there's 4 of them.
I made muffins yesterday
They each
morning.
get a row.
And 2 of them said, I'll have a muffin before school. Only 2 of them came home after school, and the rest of the dozen muffins were gone by 4 o'clock. I came home and I was like, so you guys wouldn't eat the muffins before school, but apparently 10 apiece after school, perfectly fine.
Wait, so they each ate 10 muffins?
No, it wasn't 10. It was only a dozen, but they each ate 5 muffins.
Right.
2 of them, a 10-year-old and a 17-year-old.
They're growing boys.
5.
Same thing. I made cinnamon rolls the other morning. It's testing week. I was trying to be a good mom, so there were eggs and like actual food before state testing.
Right.
Not just cereal or a granola bar kind of a morning. But
you got eggs, you got bacon.
So they were like, nah. Came home he's 11, not 10. Only my Asher came home and ate 6 leftover cinnamon rolls.
Oh my gosh. That would
I
make
was
me
like,
sick.
Ash, that's disgusting. He was like, it was good.
Yep.
I'm sure it was.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So the best is yet to come, Lauren.
Yeah.
Keep buying those sausage links.
I still say you should get a Costco membership. Get both.
It's too cute there, I think, is the issue. But I do enough damage if I walk into
At Sam's Club?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you get what you need at Sam's Club and you can buy bulk there, you're fine.
But I see like people in their cute little zippies and stuff, and they say, oh, this is from Costco. You know, I'm at
we're
an
not
age
going there
where
for the clothes. But I know
the
people
clothes
do.
and the sports items, I think.
Oh.
Like the cool chairs and
They
the
do
huts.
They do have cool chairs, lots of cool coolers.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have huts. Dave Stefanski likes to talk about how they have
caskets.
I'm like,
yes.
Do they actually?
Yes.
Well, and then I've got friends who really take advantage of their return policy, like had a couch for 3 years and return it.
I'm not sure about that.
Just look it up.
I know that that's their, I understand. I don't know. I understand that that's their return policy, but I don't know if that's what we should be doing. Right? That doesn't seem very ethical.
You don't get to
agree.
use something for years and then say, oh, I don't like this anymore. I'm going to return it.
Ugh.
Unless like there was like a catastrophic failure, like if the couch just
collapsed
completely
or something.
buckled, then that's a reason to take it back.
Yeah. Wow. We were earlier talking about should we bring dire wolves back, and along with that, woolly mammoths and dodo birds.
You also wanted the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah, that's going to be my number one. If
I think you just like the movie Ice Age.
I love the movie Ice Age. It's
Who
so
doesn't?
good.
Sid the Sloth? Come on. Our friend Hollis said, why not do something useful like making ice cream that doesn't make me fat?
Thank you, Hollis.
They have
fat-free
and it has
ice
to,
creams.
no. It has to be full fat ice cream with the mix-ins. None of this froyo. It's got to be ice cream that doesn't make us fat. Use the science on that.
I actually really like Halo ice cream.
Yes, it is good.
It's expensive, so I very rarely buy it, but it is really, really good.
Yeah, hey. I used to get that too. It's pretty good. They got the chocolate. They got the birthday cake.
I like they had like a caramel swirl one,
Yeah.
salted caramel, something like that. I haven't had it in a while, but it's really good.
What if they mixed in Ozempic into the ice cream? So the more you ate,
I'd
the
buy
less
it.
hungry you were.
I've heard people say on those GLP injections, you're like nothing even tastes good. Like you're not even hungry.
It makes
like,
you
don't
nauseous or
want
something like that.
to eat.
That'd
I'm
be
trying to
perfect
eat.
for ice cream.
I'm trying to eat ice cream.
You just don't want it to stick.
Exactly. Maybe that just means you have to take like one bite and then put it back.
Maybe
in.
mix
doing that?
Imodium
Go back to
in.
this
Do you want me to go
text right here.
Back to Hollis?
No, this this one right here.
No judgment on the outdoor tent for sporting events. I once took a queen size airbed,
Oh my goodness.
self-inflating bed to a cub a Cub Scout sleepover to the zoo and inflated it by plugging it in while everybody else was sleeping on the floor, and they were all in sleeping bags. All the other adult men initially said, really? The next morning, they all knew that I was a smart one.
I love you.
Sleeping on the ground is awful.
Also,
you
a
and I
first-time
speak
texter
the
today.
same language.
Nice. So growing up, my dad, he's like, why do you kids hate camping? Camping is wonderful.
I want to
It's the
sleep on the
best.
ground.
He brought an air mattress for himself and my mom. My brother and I were sleeping on rocks. That's why we hate camping, Dad.
I love it.
Okay, but camping, when you had like those multi-room tents and you got to like, you and your siblings like zip your parents out because you were in like the little cube on the side. No one else?
My parents, we weren't campers.
Yeah, my mom's probably listening. I wonder, I don't think we're a camping family, but we did it a lot.
Really?
At least in my memory, it was a lot. Well, we lived in Nevada and just kind of like that's what people do there.
Yeah.
I wonder if we did it just because that's what you're supposed to do there. Because
Right.
I'm looking at my parents now. They're not campers.
Yeah.
They're not the camping type.
Well, camping is a cheap vacation too, but it's
true.
also, is it really a vacation with all the prep you have to do? If you don't enjoy it and everyone's miserable.
Mm-hmm. We
there's-
came close, but this is going to sound way bougier. My parents always owned a boat. So we spent weekends and then we actually even did a 2-week vacation on the boat where we kept traveling around up into Canada and I got to have my bike and we would get off.
So you'd
bike places.
Dock and go bike
Yeah.
around. That's kind of fun.
It was awesome.
And you just
That
get
is fun.
new groceries or whatever to have to eat on the boat. That's fun.
It's really
I would
fun.
much prefer that over camping.
Yeah. I mean, it's bougie camping, being on a boat for sure. But yeah, we did
Oh,
that.
and what's your maiden name, Jamie?
Seaman.
So you guys were
Let a true seaman navigate for you.
So you
There
guys
you go.
that's what you were doing.
Yeah.
You were holding true to your heritage.
Yes.
Wow. See, look at you. All right, it's 8:45 on Mornings with Brian. We have a few minutes left for your questions, comments. What do you want to talk about? We've talked about many things today, not even much of what we've talked about this week. Text or call with what you want to talk about, 440-546-2255.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
It's the liquid.
It's gross.
It is. So I have some comments from our listeners. So, Brian, technically cereal is cold, not boiled porridge, since a porridge is grains boiled in milk or water until thick. And this is from Chef Ken, so he knows. And then if cereal, is a hot cereal soup. So,
No.
oatmeal.
Hot cereal is hot cereal.
Thank
Cream
you.
of
I was
wheat.
going to say it's a hot cereal. Kind of gross in most.
And then someone said cereals are grains.
You can put grains in soup, though.
Yeah,
So I'm
like
not,
a nice
cereal is not
barley
soup,
soup.
but I don't think that's the distinction.
Then the next question is, so if a hot cereal is soup and you have granola for breakfast, is a granola bar technically a hard soup? No?
Nah.
Well, a hot cereal is not soup.
Right.
Okay, so that answers that. We all agree. Hot cereal's not soup.
Maybe if you put in the definition that a soup could have vegetables and or meat, cereal would never have.
See, I still say that soup needs broth. Soup is primarily
Soup needs broth. And I am the queen of a good creamy, milky, cheesy greatness,
no, like
but
you can put
it
your
starts with the
cheese,
broth.
your cream in there, but the base is still usually chicken stock. You can do vegetable broth too, but it's still a broth.
Yep.
We've decided on Mondays we're going to start pointless debates.
Oh, we've already done
Then
that.
I
but
need
now
to
there's
start
a
coming
name.
in on Mondays, not Fridays. Or I guess just follow up and say how Brian was wrong on
the Friday that you come in?
Yes.
So if you have a pointless debate for us, feel free to text them in. I'll set them aside for our pointless debates on Mondays. Just a fun way to get into Monday.
I love it.
It's pointless, okay? So you don't have to get riled up or upset. It's
But
pointless.
you might if you're
You
really
might.
passionate about cereal or soup.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago it was...
Do you leave the lights on?
Should you keep the lights... Do you keep the lights on in your house at nighttime?
Oh.
And if so, how many?
Brian's electric bill is very high. We discovered that.
Yeah.
Because he leaves all the lights on?
Yeah.
A couple lights every room.
He said a couple lights every room and then said the basement light.
Why?
Brian's scared
Why
of the
the
dark.
basement?
My neighbor does this too. I walk out of my house, lots of lights on.
Brian's argument too was like, oh, the burglars are going to see. There's no burglars on his street. There is 20
There's
miles
horses.
between him and the next person.
What do you think? Do you keep lights on in your house?
I mean, a couple because I still have younger kids.
Yeah, you don't want them clomping around.
Yeah. But no, I mean, no, we don't. We keep two on. The bathroom light upstairs, and then there's a hallway light upstairs, and then a hallway light downstairs. That would be enough to maybe deter you, but it's really just so we don't fall down the steps.
Right.
Yeah, it's mostly for me, not for intruders. If you're an intruder, you're already in, so.
And I
The light switches are easy to find.
I say that the light helps the intruder. He can look in from outside,
And see that we're all asleep.
Yeah, nobody's moving around. Nothing's happened for 10 minutes. Perfect time to break in.
That's really funny. I think the bigger
Perfect
fight
time.
in our houses, and this is an actual disagreement between my husband and I, is turning on overhead lights. When is that necessary? Because I like to live in daylight or...
Wait, you mean like the big lights in the house versus lamps?
No, I just mean light in general. But yes, we could go there.
Versus having the lights on in the house or just opening blinds and
opening the
curtains.
blinds.
I see.
Mm-hmm. And I would rather just deal with blinds and curtains, and he wants lights on, especially while watching TV at night, and it's bothersome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the later that we go
I
into
should
the
be
night,
careful.
the
If
more
he's
lights
listening,
are off.
now is the time that
It's
he's listening.
bothersome.
But he's always like, what is wrong with you? You're a vampire. Turn the lights on.
No, yeah, I'm going to have the lights off at nighttime. I'm trying to watch a show. I need my retinas to be blasted by the TV screen light.
Yes. And then you also notice less when I fall asleep watching said show that you're asking me to watch with you.
Yes. And another problem I face is the dark scenes. When somebody's in a dark hall or a cave or something, it is so dark that I can't see anything. Maybe it's my rods and cones are shot, but...
So now it's 3D. You feel like you're there.
I am
is
in the
crazy.
darkness with them.
Right.
Oh, you're right. I can't see anything. I start feeling around like Velma. Where? I
Yeah.
can't see.
Do I get money back on all these scenes that I couldn't see anything?
It's so true. Is it this brightness on your TV?
No.
It's just the screen.
It's film. The
No,
contrast is not
there.
there.
Are scenes where you really can't see anything.
funny.
Someone texted in, keeping the light on at night prevents ghosts from stumbling around in the dark making noise.
That's exactly right.
That's what the ghost noises are.
Yeah.
It's the ghost stubbing their toes.
Oh,
So
be
we
kind
should
to the
turn the lights on.
ghosts.
That's why Brian Brian is afraid of the dark.
Yeah,
And the ghosts.
exactly. Oh my gosh. So if you have a pointless debate, text it in. We got one from Todd that I'm gonna put away in a sheet for Pointless Debate Mondays. It's follow-up Friday. We have our Friday song, Are You Ready? By our very own Jason Champion. So happy Friday. Here's
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, it's 8:57 now on Mornings with Brian. Jamie, if people wanted to get involved at the City Mission, all types of people, if you are free during the day, if you're not free during the day, what are some opportunities people can do?
So many things. So we've talked about meal providing earlier today. That is our biggest need at the mission right now. So if you have a small group, a church, corporate organization, you name it, put your baseball team together, put together a couple $100, come provide a meal. We spend about $500,000 a year just on food for the City Mission. So we would love for you to make an impact that way. We have what we call VIP opportunities, which is volunteer in place. So things that you can do like donation drives, creating bagged lunches, snack bags, new home kits that you can put together with a group of people and bring those to us. But all of these opportunities are on our brand smackin' new website at citymission.org. As Lauren told you earlier, my face is now on this website.
Yes, it is. I saw it myself this morning.
Enjoy. But there's so many ways you can get involved. And we actually created, so if you're on here and you are, thinking on behalf of your church, we now have a corporate page, like what we can do for you as a corporate organization and what we can do for your church. And it talks about hosting trainings and special guest speakers and all of the things. And those things fall under me. So we would love to connect with you.
And some people have asked, can kids come volunteer as well?
In general, that answer is no, because we're protecting the confidentiality of our kids that live there. You remember we have families from all over. And so that can be a hard thing to train people on, let alone kids, if you run into somebody you know. So by and large, most of our opportunities don't involve kids. However, there's a couple events every year, our back to school bash, Christmas fair, trunk or treat. And if you are a church like yours, Ron, where you have taken the time to get to know us and you've trained your church to come and be part of it, we do kind of loosen the reins as you get to know us. But by and large, if a school, especially a school close to Cleveland, calls and says, we want to come do something, I'm going to try to turn that around to doing something off-site and dropping it at the mission because we want our kids to feel safe. So
because they don't maybe want to be found out.
They don't want to be found out. Yeah, they don't want to be outed.
Yeah, that they're living at Laura's home.
Exactly.
Or living at the city mission. And
yeah,
because they still go to school.
100%.
Got
so
it.
we're pretty careful with that. But that, I will be honest, now if everybody calls today, it will be hard. But that is my joy, to come out to a school, to a Girl Scout troop. I was at a Girl Scout troop in Brecksville actually this week. Talk about what we do, kind of destigmatize. And if you will kind of go a long run of being educated and getting to know us, then I'm going to creak open the door.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. That's thecitymission.org. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Serving Portage, Summit, and Medina counties, and more. This is